Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Lance cutting his finger, Cayko, you already made it into the architecture program. You pulled that trick once.
What am I trying to get into now?
I don't know. You tell me.
Kind of program.
You cut your finger. You tell me what you're trying to get into.
I don't know.
You already got a job here.
Yep.
Did you cut your finger doing something cool? Or
fishing. I have no idea how.
Okay.
I have no idea how I cut it. All I know is I caught about a 20-inch trout.
Yep.
Wednesday afternoon, playing hooky from work.
Yep.
And I was unhooking it, and somehow I got cut.
Yeah. Weird cut story. Jiu-jitsu on Monday.
Yeah.
There was fresh blood on someone's pants.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looked around. We couldn't find where it came from.
What?
Couldn't find where it came from.
Wow.
Now, speaking of that, how I know it came, obviously it had to come from somewhere. This was about 4 months ago. Changed the baby's diaper. Poop was coming out the sides.
That's
Both
what has.
sides.
That's what has to happen.
It got up his back. It got on his pants, and it came out. Like, it got on me. I took off the diaper. You know where the poop should be. You've changed it.
Yep.
There was no poop in the center. Like, somehow it missed the whole center.
Ew.
I don't know how that's possible. Like, how does it go straight out the sides? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It makes me nervous.
Yeah.
You're making me nervous.
About what? You can have another kid?
No, just thinking about all that poop, man. Oof.
Yeah, flashbacks. That's what you're getting right now.
That's
Flashbacks.
exactly what's going on.
So, speaking of not having any of those things happen, in the comfort of your own home, you can learn a skill without blood or without poop. It's called RevitRocketShip.com. If you need to learn Revit, go to RevitRocketShip.com. Yours truly teaches you, trains you, gives you templates, tutorials, and starter files, and then also walks you through a whole project and how to build families. And then after you're done, you get to start your own project, and we also have videos about how to start your own project. Go to RevitRocketShip.com. Guaranteed, if you don't like it, your money back. Lance.
You also should go to ArchCat.com because they have nearly 30 years of experience assisting architecture professionals in their search for the best products for their projects. Starting as a desktop reference with listings and manufacturers' catalogs, ArchCat has evolved into the #1 most used website, backed up to date CAD, BIM, and specifications. And just as it was in 1991, ArchCat offers all of this at no additional cost to the user and without requiring registration.
That's always annoying.
It's easy. Visit archcat.com today and see why architecture professionals have used it for 3 decades. That's ARCAT.com. Al Gore.
I just noticed we both have bison and you have a buffalo, which is a bison on our clothing right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's cool. We need more bison on the planes. Helps everything out.
Oh yeah, that's your new thing.
I know. I was watching this TED Talk guy, and basically he stated how, did you know back in the day they thought that herd animals contributed to desertification.
When is back in the day? Define back in the day.
I don't know, but I asked the guys up here, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it stomps on the grass and kills the grass, and then all of a sudden it becomes desert."
Yeah.
So in Africa, they
used to think this.
Yep.
Yeah.
They killed 14,000 elephants.
Wow.
Because the desert was growing. And then guess what happened after they died?
It grew even more.
Grew even faster.
Wow.
And then he had to figure out, he goes, worst mistake in my life. It's
Man,
actually...
I feel like it's kind of like this coronavirus. We're going to lock it down again. I bet it's going to keep growing. Just a guess. Not a scientist.
Not a scientist.
Don't censor me.
But anyways, the herds actually that move frequently, mimicking nature, do trample down grass, but it actually traps the moisture in the soil. And their urine and their excrements actually mixes with the soil so that when it regrows back firmer. And it's actually about keeping the topsoil. You are a gardener. You know, a lot of people cover their gardens, right?
Got to do it.
It's the same thing with herd animals.
Keep that topsoil.
So I want million buffalo packs.
Design it, Al. Why don't you design it?
I'm a builder. I'm going to build Buffalo Commons.
You're a builder.
Yep. And
Buffalo
also,
Commons.
Yep.
I
And a
love
tree
it.
forest
I
out
love
there.
Thousands of acres.
Yep.
Hundreds and thousands of acres in the Midwest. Take advantage of it.
Oh, yeah. Even in Colorado. From Colorado to Nebraska, past I-25, buffaloes.
Just ridiculous.
That was off topic, totally. But on topic is something that me and you dealt with and probably a bunch of our listeners think about. And you have it design/build versus design+build. What do you mean?
Yeah. What do I mean, Alex? Thank you for teeing me up. So let me give a little bit of a backstory before we really dive into this. And that is, so I met with a potential client earlier in the week, possibly going to be a package deal where we end up being their builder. Hopefully that's what we do. It's a residential house, brand new build. But when I got there, one of the revealing parts of it was, and I'm sure you've done this too, Alex, where maybe they have worked with a designer. Sure enough, they worked with an architect. I don't know if it was a licensed architect, doesn't matter, but they worked with a design/build firm first. And they were not happy because, and the slash versus the plus is what I'm trying to, what I'm going to hone in on here, right? There's a difference. And I think what we are is design+build. I think that's what, if you are an architect, that's what you should be, is design+build, not design/build.
First, before we get into deeper, why were they not happy?
Perfect. So the reason why they weren't happy is because they had to put a retainer down for the design work, but they put a retainer, actually, they had to put a retainer down for the company itself, right? So design/build, meaning they weren't just putting a deposit down on the design process, it was for everything.
Ooh,
so
that's a lot.
I mean, and the caveat to add to that was they don't get a deliverable unless they continue the process with them. Meaning like, oh, these drawings are copyrighted. If you don't like our price for the build portion of the back half of our slash, right? The design/build, then you can go kick rocks and you got nothing. You maybe have like the conceptual design, but like if we catch you, this is me just putting words in the other company's mouth, but I'm sure let's say they were litigious. They drive around the corner 2 years later, see the house, they're like, that's our design?
Yep.
Now we're going to sue you for copyright infringement.
Yep.
So these guys ended up dropping $5,000 right off the bat to retain. They got right into the beginning of design development, started looking at elevations and roof plans and seeing the form of the house and everything. And the budget was astronomical. The first numbers came back astronomical. And they go, well, we can't afford this at all. And then they just said, they just walked.
Right.
So then when they approached us, it was, I've never encountered that before, so I thought it was worth sharing. And that's why I think it's important to be design+build. So what ended up,
you aren't guaranteeing that you're going to build it right away.
yes, all I'm guaranteeing is that I'm going to guarantee you that that if you hire us for the design portion of it, yes, we will give you pricing at the same time in the design process as this other firm.
Yep.
But you're not beholden to not us. We will finish out the project for you as architects. You'll get your product, which is the design documents, the construction documents. And if you want to try another builder because we're not working out for you, fine.
Yep.
That's why we're design+build, not design/build.
I'll give you two different scenarios where it worked out. So this church was talking to us about an addition, and they hired a contractor and that contractor had an architect. The architect was doing the drawings and all that, and the contractor wasn't fulfilling their obligations, whether that means proposals, budgets, feedback, whatever. So they ended up firing that contractor. Now that architect is going to finish the project, but at first they weren't going to finish the project whatsoever.
Because they were tied together.
And they also weren't going to, they were only going to hand over PDFs, not the DWGs. And I kind of said, like, if you're redoing anything, like, redo it in Revit. Like, that's what I told them, right? So that's echoing what you said. Now they said, hey, your price was good. We're going with another contractor, and we're going to go with their architect because, they lowered their price, right? And I said, I'm not trying to hard reel in this church or anything like that. I don't want to get on the wrong side of God. So I'm just given the best advice that I possibly can. And I said, hey, that's great. And there's obvious benefits to design build, but just to let you know, I've been through many projects, like large projects, where during construction, they switch contractors, right? So then, like, are you going to end up in this scenario again where maybe they'll release drawings, but like, is that architect going to want to work with you? Like, maybe it's just release drawings and all of a sudden the architect's off the project too. So that's kind of weird. So like in large projects, I think design build can work, but like there's also that risk there.
Design/build or
design/build.
The risk.
The risk is like, big projects. There's a couple of multifamilies, and then the one like, the contractor switched. The contract like during construction.
Yes, multiple times. Multiple projects as this has happened.
Yeah.
Even just single family homes, I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So that's if you're buying plans, like make sure that you get a release of the plans and all that.
But the plus part, I really want to emphasize that, like, I think there's something also positive about it. Literally, it's a positive sign. It's a positive sign, right? Like you look at it and you go, oh, like I look at the Latin cross, I'm like, plus, meaning like
in addition,
meaning it's an added positive for somebody selecting your firm. I think it's like we've talked about before, and we talk about actually in the course that we're developing to move towards the design plus build. If you're thinking about it, is you're setting up yourself for being able to basically fish a little bit. That's the best way I can put it. Like you're putting out a little bit of bait, a little bit. Yep. You're luring people with, look, hey, we're obviously great architects, but at the same time, we can give you pricing right away. We can, and then we know the construction part of it, and then maybe you don't have to shop for somebody else because we could do kind of all in one.
Yep. There's three kinds of design build firms. The way I look at it. And the first one is it's actually a construction company, and they hired an architect or a drafter. So like when you say design build, that's what I think about, and I don't like that. So like I don't want to be labeled as just like blanket design build, because it's not like we just hired some drafters. The other one is more like Nick Renard, where it's hey, we're gonna design and then build it, and it's just like very attention, one person care, stuff like that. And you're kind of locked in. And I also don't like that you're locked in, like you're doing both no matter what.
Yes.
With this firm.
I don't like it either.
Yep. So those two options I don't like. I like architect plus builder. Yeah. So that's the model we're pursuing.
Yeah. One more thing about building that I would add here is that, we were just awarded we were just awarded our first tenant finish project. It's actually pretty big. It's a 4,000 square foot tenant finish, comparable to a small custom home as far as all the fees and everything go. And I had to fight for it. And so which you should be aware of if you're trying to turn any residential is a different story. So that's why I'm telling this story about the commercial side of it is the last hurdle that was put up before selecting us. I could tell the owners and the franchisor, the person who does the umbrella for the franchise, they loved us. And you could tell we earned their trust over the design process. You could tell that they wanted to choose us. But the last hurdle was the developer in our client's contract with them to lease this space was a provision that said the developer has the final say in who gets to be the contractor. Like they could have pinned the owner into, I don't care. The maybe F9, maybe F14 is more cost effective, but you're going to choose this other firm because because I just trust them, and maybe they're doing the core and shell, right? So it took a lengthy email and proving that we can do it, and everybody should trust us. And the kicker was, I got to show I looked up this other firm that we were competing with, and it literally came down to see all of our 42 5-star reviews, see their 5 cumulative 4.2 star reviews, and then somebody left such a bad review for the other person, for the other firm, that I think it was the nail in the coffin for that. So don't forget to ask for your reviews, and don't forget to stand up for yourself, and know that there might be that little, if you're trying to turn a commercial project into it, talk with your client and ask them if there's a provision like that in their lease agreement where the owner, the developer of the overall building gets a say in who can be the GC.
Yep. In other news, we've talked about this before, but there's finally been a decision. UpCodes won their first legal battle. So it's, yep. If you haven't used UpCodes, you should go check it out. It's probably upcodes.com. Lance can find it and verify it. But essentially what they've done is they put in the different IRC, IBC codes, put in the amendments per state, and then also they have a feature where you can download and buy, and it will check your Revit model for, common code violations, things like that. But it's easy, it's searchable. They offer a subscription.
It's actually up.codes. Done.
Oh,
that's it.
I'm glad.
Slick.
I'm glad you checked it out. But basically, they won their first ruling that essentially said if it's law, it's in the public domain, right? And the ICC said that this inhibits their ability to generate revenue, which then inhibits their ability to make, the codes and the law and all that.
And keep it up and all that.
Yep. Which I sort of buy.
I get it. Nothing's free.
Yep. But it's like, hey, I have this monopoly, so like, and they might say they're trying to improve, but no one else can improve or make a function off something that is law, which, is kind of crazy. And then now they have filed another lawsuit against UpCodes that they basically copied their codes, but it's riddled with errors and it's terrible and all that. And that's going through the courts. So that's where they're at. I wish. I'm still on UpCode side. Because I feel like the ICC is just resting on their laurels. It's like, we made the codes. Here you go. Pay $80 per book, or no innovation. It's just kind of following through. Like they're doing it better than you.
Sounds like a monopoly.
They're doing it better.
Sounds like one of those monopolies.
Yeah. So
sounds like one of those state-enabled monopolies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And also, I wish someone would break it. So they have courses for being code reviewers. They're like $250 a course. I wish they'd be less. I'd take one of those. I want to get inside the building official's head. What are you looking for? What are you looking at?
Yeah.
Al,
the Bitcoin bull Gore.
Al,
thinking about it.
Sneak around the back door.
That's what we need. We should have a segment of Bitcoin.
Oh, bring back Bitcoin.
Al, what is it at right now?
What's
it going to? I need to know this. The listeners need to know.
It's now. Last time I talked to you, everyone, it was probably at like 15 or 16.
15 or 16, I think, last week.
Now it's at 18.6.
7.
18.7.
I'm on Robinhood and I'm looking at it. 18.7.
Yeah.
Al, what's your prediction? And by the way, Al is right. And I think I'm gonna look up he has a new nickname, just so everybody needs to know this.
I don't even know what my new nickname is.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you here in a second. But what
Al
is
Get Her Done Gore? Al the Great Gore.
Well, while I'm looking that up, here it is.
Al Awesome Man Gore. These are all been used multiple times.
Oh, Al the Bitcoin riding with Biden bull Gore.
Because I predicted in 2008 that Biden would be president,
and it's looking very likely.
Yep.
But what do you tell us what you're reading?
Yep.
About Bitcoin that leads you to believe that it's going to get to between 60 and 600,000
within 1 year from now.
Okay. Yep.
Minus a couple weeks. It's essentially just following the pattern that after each halving, like where Bitcoin halves its productivity in respect to miners producing Bitcoin, it takes a couple months for that supply and demand to balance out, and for essentially investors to buy up that and hold that as a reserve asset like gold, you know? So you follow the last two halvings, and within 12 months of it was basically where they hit their peak, and they do it relative to where it was at that starting point, right? So a lot of people predict higher than me because they think it will be in between the last two halvings, like the percent increase. And what I was doing was, well, if the first one went up, let's say 1,000%, and then the last one went up 800%, that's a 200% difference. This one could only go up 600%. Like, so that's where 60,000, or it could be right in the middle, about 600,000. Who knows? But it'll be fun to see.
It will be fun to see. And here's my anecdotal evidence, but it's actually true. Is that so? The more you get people, the more customers you get, the better your business is going to be, right? Theoretically, if you're running a decent ship, the more, like, social media wise, if you have more followers, the more attention you're going to grab for people, right? How did Facebook and Twitter become profitable? Maybe they finally had a bunch of users and they turned on small business ads, and then through the pandemic that all went through. Bitcoin, PayPal is now, you can pay for stuff with using PayPal. So it's all of these, and this is just recent. So that's one of the primary reasons why people are actually going to use this as money finally.
Yep.
So here we are.
Yep.
Get your Bitcoin.
Another thing that you talked about before, I was always a naysayer on gold. Like, what are you going to do? You have gold, but what are you actually going to buy? Who's going to exchange gold with you?
I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, Lance is going to eat it. But then you told me someone you knew or a friend, they stored it as an asset that retained and grew value. And then when they wanted a down payment on the house, they literally used it as a down payment on a house.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki and his wife Kim. Robert Kiyosaki, if you don't know him, you should follow him. Their podcast is so awesome. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Literally, just you should subscribe today. It's great. She was telling the story about how they paid for their first house, and this is when he was a Marine and he was over doing stuff in Vietnam or whatever. He was out of the country, didn't matter. So they were going to buy their first house in California, and she talks about literally having to go to their closet and schlep several bags of physical silver coin and put a down payment on the house. And my friend John Kyle, who is a hemp farmer down southeast Colorado, same thing.
Yep.
That's where they literally put their down payment on their land. So now, like, the bank has their physical assets, so it could work.
Yep.
But either way, I think in summation, here's the summation and why it's important. You're obviously a business owner if you're listening to this podcast, or you're going to be a business owner if you're listening to this podcast. So capital is everything to be able to start and maintain and have a business, right? Cash flow. There are predictions that we are going to devalue the U.S. dollar by up to 20% more next year. Like, there's going to be more stimulus passed, right? So there's only three places you can put your money, your dollars, to have a return right now if you're going to keep devaluing it, right? Like, you're not getting money by buying treasury bonds, is what I'm saying. You're not keeping the wealth coin. It's either going to be crypto, so Bitcoin, gold and silver, stocks, so 4. Or
gold and silver, you can just say what? Precious metals,
or real estate.
Yeah.
So be aware of that stuff happening. Make some smart investments.
There you go.
I should have a disclaimer like,
but we don't. You're just saying
you're liable. I'm just talking. This is me just talking. What do I know? What do I know?
Financial background whatsoever.
Yep.
But someone who is a financial genius is Nick. So let's listen to him what Nick reads.
Hello, best friends. I hope you all had a great week this week. A reading. Many of us would probably be better fishermen if we did not spend so much time watching and waiting for the world to become perfect. Norman MacLean. A river runs through it. Lance. To touch on something discussed last week. If I hoisted Al up upon my broad shoulders, and he reached as high as his little arms could reach, collectively, we might be able to touch the header of an 8.0 door. Maybe. Toodles!
only if that 8.0 door is inches, so it's 6'8". If it was 8 foot, no way we're touching
How does he
that.
know you have?
No way.
How did he know you have little tiny Tyrannosaurus Rex arms? Little baby.
He hasn't seen me in person. I think it's the way I talk. You know,
I can hear your arms.
the length of my
I'm
arms.
just like, wow.
Those are
Struggling to get that mic towards his face. Those little baby arms.
Little baby arms. Speaking of people with regular arms, let's bring down the crew for A.R.E. Jeopardy.
All right, number 1. What is the term for measuring radiant energy that is reflected or absorbed in a material? A, absorption rate. B, albedo. C, Ronaldo. D, Bandalio. A, absorption rate. B, albedo. C, Ronaldo. D, Bonaldio.
If you don't get this, you're probably fired.
All right, what do we got? Rebecca. A. Wow. The correct answer is B.
We don't have a firm. Please apply. AKG at F. Just kidding. Go on.
All right. Wow.
Mark,
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah. That one's like a classic.
And all the trick answers sounded exactly like it. You could have guessed just from
Ronaldo. He is a soccer player. Bonalio. That is a made-up word. Radiant energy. Radiant energy.
So a roof can radiate.
energy. Yep. That's why. Tricky. There you go. Number 2. What is the rate at which heat passes through a material known as? A, conduction. B, concoction. C, conductivity. D, convolution. Tricky. Need them again? Yes. A, conduction. B, concoction. Oh, well, C, conductivity. D, convolution. And the question is, what is the rate at which heat passes through a material known as? Ross, I see you raising your hand already.
Don't show them.
All right, what do we got? Rubosaurus Rex.
Which one was conductivity?
Oh. Yeah. Now you got to say it. You just got to guess.
That's my guess.
Okay. C. What do you got? C. The correct answer, C. Now everybody's tied. Al Gore, what do you got?
All right, tiebreaker. This one's going to get you guys. What is the general cost of Ram Earth in Boulder County as of yesterday? A. That's for finance to figure out. No. That's A, $650. This is all in dollars. So $650 a cubic yard. B, $2,000 a cubic yard. C, $250 a cubic feet. D, $6,750 a cubic yard.
I want to guess.
Yeah, write it down. Here's A, $650 a cubic yard. B, $2,000 a cubic yard. C, $250 a cubic feet. D, $6,750 a cubic yard.
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, yeah. I did change the units on one of those.
Just to F around. Okay.
Yep. So A, B. What did you say? B. So A and B were both incorrect. So A was $650 a cubic
Really?
yard.
I was
That's
guessing
concrete.
A.
That's concrete, you silly.
Yeah, but I thought like maybe it's the same.
Oh, no, you're silly. B was just like, hey, maybe it's like over double concrete. C, $250 a cubic foot was what I got quoted yesterday. D is $250 a cubic foot converted into cubic yards. So it is also correct. 6,750
Is sane.
and a T. That was only from one person, but they did a sick house in the same style that we were doing. But foot. 1 foot. $250. Woo! I'm getting gold prices.
God, I just want to rant about how expensive it is to quote unquote build green, and how long it's gonna take you to get your rate of return. Like just stick build. I'm just tired of the
rammed earth.
nonsense.
It's dirt and cement. There might be. I'm literally thinking I'm gonna find some people. New Mexico does it more because they do Adobe.
Fly 'em up.
They might be like,
Fly them up.
oh, that's ridiculous. We can do it for a third the price.
There you go.
Okay. What type of trees does hardwood lumber come from? A, evergreen. B, deciduous. C, coniferous. D, bamboo.
And he spelled bamboo wrong. I just want to let everybody know that it was bamboo.
Fix it for me, please.
All right, fixed.
Thank you.
Oh, and with only one O, there's two O's, isn't there? Yeah.
Yep. A, evergreen. B, deciduous. C, coniferous. D, bamboo. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. B, C. B is the correct answer.
Fun fact, bamboo is not a tree. Bamboo is a grass.
Oh, there we go. Okay, what do we got? Who has two?
I have one.
One? Gresh wins? Hey.
No, we both have it.
Oh,
tiebreaker. Marky Mark, come
normally,
on down.
This is for all the marbles because you literally get to decide where we get to eat today. Because normally we make that order in.
Yeah. Ready? Okay. Rank these soil classifications in order from highest bearing capacity to lowest bearing capacity. SM, CL, GW. Gresh guessed once incorrectly.
Too quiet. Somebody say something.
Well, Ross, yep.
Nope.
What is it, Chris? Got it. Rank these soil classifications. Wow.
Nope.
Wow.
How many different options?
Oh, man. Because
Can-
there's three? That's not too bad.
All right, Ross gets the
Three,
next
not
one.
four.
Gresh guessed twice. Ross is coming in hot.
Nope.
And
That's it. Gresh got it.
Gresh got... Okay, what are they? Give the answers.
So the answer was GW, SM, CL. GW is well-graded gravel. SM is silty sand. CL is lean clay.
Ross was right on his second answer.
Oh, okay.
So...
Just a recount there over overturning election.
Yeah. Oh, man. Trump is in the house.
Got it in there.
Yeah, Mark Trump Peddler. Wow. Anyways, if you want some sanity and some clarity, go to RevitRocketShip.com where you will learn a hard skill that pays you back. Guaranteed. If you do not like it, we'll give you your money back. RevitRocketShip.com.
Follow us on the Twitter. Follow us on the Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on LinkedIn. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you do, you will get a free copy of Alex's book. Just email us with a screen cap of your 5-star review, and we'll send it your way. Talk to you